We're going to start streaming on Facebook. Hopefully this will work. We'll give it like 5 more minutes. All right, we'll see if this going live worked for us. All right, looks like it worked. Can you all hear me? Okay, cool. This is something new. I'm not used to doing this all on my own. I usually have backup, so pardon me if I'm kind of all over the place tonight. But thank you everyone who's here. Looking forward to tonight's meeting. We'll get started about 6:05 so I can respect everyone's time. I know it's dinner time and wind down time, so I don't want to drag this out too long, but we have a lot of important updates for you. Let's see. Long, but one more minute and we'll get started. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Good to see you. All right, we'll just start. We'll get started. So my name is Candace Leos, and I'm the founder of Compton Advocates. You usually see me with Yolanda, who is the founder of Vecinos Unidos, but she couldn't be here tonight, so we have Christopher filling in. So if there is anyone who needs Spanish translation, feel free to let us know. You could type it in the chat or unmute and let us know if you need that, and he can do that for you. I do not have the best Spanish, so you don't want me doing it. We also have closed captioning now for our ASL community. So if they join in, it's a new feature we put on for our meetings so everyone can be included and get, current information. So Christopher, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself since you're going to be one of the leads in here.
Yeah, for sure. Hello, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. My name is Christopher Martinez. Me llamo Christopher. I'm here on behalf of Vecinos Unidos. Aquí estoy en parte de Vecinos Unidos, el grupo. If you guys have any questions, si tienen cualquier preguntas, feel free to ask. Aprovechen a preguntar. Aquí estamos para traducirles y servirles. Si tienen cualquier pregunta en español, aquí estamos para asistirles. If you all have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm here on behalf of Vecinos Unidos and looking forward to tonight's event.
Thank you. And we also have Arturo Macias here. He is the lead of the Tucker Street Block Club. We're going to have a whole conversation about block clubs a little bit later on, but Arturo, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, Candace. Hey, everyone. My name is Arturo Macias. As Candace indicated, I'm one of the captains for the Tucker Street Block Club over in District 2. And as you know, we are in seasons, a lot in our district lately about what's going on with the candidates. So we look forward to jumping into this. Okay.
Thank you. So
Did you
there's
catch
been
all
a
that?
lot.
Alrighty.
Yeah, you went really fast at the end. It's like you got stuck and then it all came out really fast. But I think, does anyone need him to repeat anything? I think we got you. It was just like on fast forward.
Okay, thanks, Candace.
So I want to go over a couple of things because I've had a few questions about candidates and postings on our page, and Compton Advocates is a 501c3, so we cannot endorse any candidates, and we have decided to remain neutral and lean more toward the informational direction with this election. So we want to give people the tools to make the decision that is best for them. So I just wanted to make that clear because I know I've had a couple of candidates contact me and like try to post in the group, and we cannot do that or we will lose our 501c3 status. So we will give you tools, we'll help you research, we'll help you do whatever you need to do, but ultimately the decision is up to the residents. I know there are a few other groups that are going to do candidate forms and whatnot, and we may do one leading more into the general election in June, but for this one in April, we're just going to be more on the informational side. So I wanted to let everyone know that. That was one. And then I wanted to let you all know, I was on a meeting last week with the team from Metro Micro, and it's a new rideshare service through MTA. I did not know about it, but apparently it started in December. And it's similar to Uber and Lyft. It's for going short distances, but it's $1 per ride. And so you can sign up to do it with their mobile app online, or you can call them to schedule these rides. And you can also schedule rides in advance. So it's actually a really good service, and it's affordable because Lyft and Uber can be kind of pricey when you get into that. Their operating hours, they are Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And if you go to comptonadvocates.org and click on our resource page, there is a link and all kinds of information that I put on there so you can access it. But if, you know, some people don't have a car or something's going on with the car, this is a really cheap and easy way to get around. And it looks safe, and they sanitize their vehicles, and there's like plexiglass dividers between the driver and the passengers. So check it out. And then election info. So we have a big election coming up beginning in April. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 6 seats are up for election. 5 are technically going to be voted on because there was no one challenging the city attorney. So he's the incumbent and will automatically be, you know, let in again. But mayor, District 2, District 3, city clerk, and city treasurer are all up for election right now. The first election is April 20th. All of these are for terms of 4 years. And I'll be honest, it's going to be a little crazy. So I advise everyone to do your research, ask questions, get involved, because for mayor, many of you know Mayor Brown is not running for a 3rd term. So that kind of opened up the playing field. So we actually have 10 candidates for mayor right now. And 5 candidates for District 2, 6 candidates for District 3, 2 for city clerk, and 3 candidates for city treasurer. So it is going to be important that you all do your due diligence and ask questions, research, Google, contact them. They should be accessible. If you have questions, you should be able to call them up and ask them questions. Schedule a socially distanced meeting with them or a phone call or whatnot, but they should be open to that, at least in my opinion. And I don't know if anyone has anything else to add, Christopher or Arturo. No? Okay. I see some new people join. Does anyone need Spanish translation? Just type it in the chat or raise your hand or something and we'll get Christopher to translate, but we'll move ahead. So I made all these notes and then it's like a ton of notes on this paper. So for April 20th is the first election. The registration deadline to vote in that election is April 1st. So if you are not registered to vote, please do so by April 1st. It's really easy. You just go to lavote.net. If you're not sure, then just go ahead and do it all over again. Go to LA Vote, do your registration. I think you can check your registration status there as well. For the June 1st general election, which is like the final, the runoff is June 1st, and the registration deadline to vote in that election would be May 17th. This is going to be an all mail election, so it's going to be a little different. Due to COVID, they changed it, and I believe due to cost. So it'll be all mail. So just make sure you check your status, and if you're not sure, just register again. It doesn't hurt you. But we want to make sure that it's all hands on deck for this election because this is a lot of seats up. They have great impact on the city. And, you know, it's really important that we all are involved and doing our civic duty. And Compton historically does not have a big voter turnout, but a lot of people complain. And so you can't complain if you're not engaged and you're not active in it. It doesn't work that way. So we all have to do our part. And I would really encourage you to get involved because it affects everything. It affects infrastructure, programming, everything to do with this city. And there are a lot of issues that need to be fixed, but you know, it kind of starts with us. We have to do our part. I don't know if anyone has any questions or anything to add. And I
don't have a
Fatima.
question, Candace, but can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention that, let's see, can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So although the election is on April 20th, ballots actually go out March 20th. And because all of my neighbors that I talk to, everyone's doing their homework now. They're vetting the candidates, they're interviewing the candidates, they're attending whatever forums there are now. So by the time those ballots arrive, March 20th, thank you, Christian. So by the time the people receive their ballots, they already know who they're voting for. They fill it out and they return it. So the actual
You're breaking up.
320 to 420 is actually, oh, so sorry. Oh, already. Did you catch any of that?
We caught the first part and then you started to break up at about March 20th.
Okay, let me see if I can change but you go ahead. I don't want to hold anybody up, but I'll see if I can get a stronger connection here.
Okay, just chime in when you're ready. So yeah, now is the time to start doing your research. And Macmillan, the Macmillan Block Club, they were great, and they have already done one candidate form for the treasurer seat. Adriana, I don't know if you want to talk about that. That was awesome. It was great that you guys did that. Is she still here?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's okay.
I was on Angela's duty. Sorry, guys. Let me just turn on the light really quick and get on the video. It's always better to see someone, right? Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, so we hosted we just went for it. We know we're in a pandemic and that we know that, it's still a little scary out there, but we've been wanting to meet for a couple of months. We've been doing virtually, but it's not the same. We noticed that we're all not as united as we usually were. So finally, Amadi, which is the one that mainly started the whole block club, because we were going to get a pocket park here nearby, but it's still on the works. And so yeah, we just went for it. Passed out a flyer to all of our block, English and Spanish, and hope for the best. We social distance every chair so that nobody is in danger. And luckily, all the candidates showed up, and it was pretty awesome. And I ended up
that was
doing
great.
the Spanish interpretation for everything. It was a little tough, but I did my best.
It was great. I watched it online, and it's as simple as that. If you get some neighbors together, or if you want to meet with one of the candidates, you should be able to. And it is like interviewing someone for a job in a lot of ways. So, feel free to do that. A lot of their contact information is on the candidates list here. There's a few that don't have information there, but for the most part, they seem to all have something there that you can reach out to them on. Let's see, key dates, we did that. I don't know if anyone has any questions about registering to vote, or does anyone have any input on, if you haven't voted, why, what's keeping you from voting? I'm always curious to that. I haven't always been politically involved because I kind of grew up with the mindset that you don't discuss religion or politics with people because it's too combative. But now that I'm older, I realize that that's a problem, and we should be able to talk about those things because those are important conversations for us to have. And like I said, you can't complain, but then not be actively engaged in the process either. Because when you don't vote, you're basically letting other people make the decision for you. And then I see that we have Fatima here, and she and Ernie Gutierrez, who is a member of the community, they just won an election. And I would like you, Fatima, to explain what exactly that position is and how it impacts our community, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot.
I don't mind. Thank you, Candace. Yeah, and I'm sorry I came in late. I was just actually on a meeting for that, but I did want to share. I don't know if any of you guys know Aaron Dowell from the community, but I don't live in Compton, but I've talked to a lot of you privately about this. I really care about the community just because, and I ran for assembly. But so what we're doing is we're actually we are going to be interviewing candidates. I didn't even tell I see them called candidates on this call, but I wanted to do like a video series. Just because like I want, I care about like the future of Compton. And so I just wanted to say I'm going to be putting that out there. It's not really a forum, but it was good to know these dates when ballots are going out, so I can figure out how soon we need to do that. But yeah, so Candace, I'll try to put it in a nutshell. I wanted to talk to you offline and be like, how do I explain this to the community in a forum, because it's like something that no one's heard about, but just to put it in a nutshell. So we have our statewide Democratic Party, right? The California Democratic Party. And with these elections, we had the chance to elect 14 individuals to be delegates from each assembly district, right? So Compton is in Assembly District 64. And I'm really happy that, Ernie and I were one of the 14, but not only that, the entire slate I was running on with all the other candidates. So there's 14 of us, we all made it just through organizing, informing the community what these elections were, and voter engagement. And then just to say like, well, what does this mean? Like, how does it matter? So I'll give you a perfect example where I was just at. So a lot of times we don't know what's going on with statewide bills. But there's a really important bill, for example, that's going to be introduced, which is healthcare for all. And so one thing we do as delegates is we can, vote on endorsements. We can also rally our representatives, our state senators, to be like, this is a really important issue for our community. With COVID, we really need healthcare for all. How can we? What do you need to what do you need from us to support it? And things like that. So basically, as delegates, we have voting power in terms of endorsements, but we can also push policy that's important, like for our community, right? Whether it's budget related, statewide issues like healthcare, housing, and things like that. And so, in a nutshell, like that's what it is. I would love to do like an informative session with Ernie, maybe Candace, to the
Yeah, we
community.
can schedule that.
Yeah, something like that. But in a nutshell, that's what it entails. Yes. So
Does anyone have any questions for her? Feel free to raise your hand or unmute and ask the questions. I'm also monitoring Facebook because we're live on there, but I don't. Someone said we should be able to talk about this stuff and accept each other's point of view. And I agree. It's not always an easy topic, but communication is so important. And being someone who, I guess I'm considered new on the scene because I started getting involved with Compton stuff in 2019, but it's opened my eyes to a lot of just communication barriers in the community. And I'm not going to dig into it too far, but we have to learn how to talk to one another, express our opinions, listen to others' opinions, give feedback, not listen to respond, but listen. Because I've learned a lot from listening to other people with different points of view. And try to work together, because I've told a couple of people, if we're fighting one another, we can't take care or focus on the bigger picture things that are affecting us as a community, because we're too busy in the mud just like arguing. So I am hoping and praying that we all do better with one another and that communication becomes a little easier. And I'm really hoping that these races stay clean. And that is something to look at as well. Just pay attention to how people are moving throughout these elections, because that will tell you a lot about how they operate. It shouldn't be that bad. These people they want to be elected to serve the community. And when you say public servant, like I am a public servant, I am a city employee, I take that very seriously. And I know that the taxpayers pay my check. When people call me, I do whatever I can to help them because that's my job. And so one of the primary things of running for an office and being elected and getting in there is you have to want to be of service. And so just keep that in mind as you're researching your candidates and, vetting them. I don't know if anyone has anything to add or any questions.
Yeah, Candice, we do have a question in the chat by Teresa. Where will the talks/interviews be posted?
oh, was that the one I was talking about or something else?
If it's the candidate forums, then I know there's a couple of different organizations that are doing them. I've heard that the Compton Chamber of Commerce is doing one. So when we get that info, we'll share it on Compton Advocates. So just keep an eye out. I've also heard that the Compton NAACP is going to be doing a candidate forum as well. And then, the video series that Fatima mentioned. So it'll be a future community roundtable. So it'll be on a Thursday. Maybe we can schedule it for March. So we'll have her and Ernie come in. Our next meeting is March 11th. So, we can maybe target that day, but just keep an eye on our social media and we'll let you know when that talk is coming up. Any other questions?
That was about it, but I'm actually going to go ahead and since Candice is on the topic of sort of the candidates that are running, I'm dropping the link to the candidates that are running. So for those who maybe don't have
Thank you.
there's a link there, so y'all can feel free to look at the candidates. And again, just emphasizing that you can feel free to contact them. Their contact information is on there, so always feel free to just give them a call and reach out and to learn more about them.
Okay, thank you. And so we'll move on to block clubs because that has been a topic thanks to Mr. Chris Bailey, who is joining us tonight as well. He did a live the other day talking about the importance of block clubs. And I do remember when I was younger, my grandfather started the neighborhood watch in our neighborhood, because we had a lot of gangs and we had like a drug house and just a lot of gang members around. And so he started this neighborhood watch program, and he linked up with elected officials and like the police chief at the time. And I remember seeing him walk around with like everyone's phone number on these little sheets. And so everybody knew how to get in touch with everyone. It's just like an added level of security in your neighborhood, getting to know your neighbors. Like, I don't know, my mom still lives in my childhood home, and it's still all the same people and everyone knows everyone. So everyone looks out for everyone. And so there's a lot of benefits to having a block club. And so we have Adriana here, who is one of the leads of McMillan, the McMillan Connection. And then we have Arturo here, who is one of the captains, I think that's how he described himself, of the Tucker Street Block Club. And I want them to talk about, you know, what that experience, like what the benefits are, and what changes they've seen in their neighborhood, and just give their perspective on the importance of block clubs. So I'm going to open it up to Arturo and Adriana.
Okay, Adriana, should I go first or would you like to go first? So hey everyone, this is Arthur over on Tucker Street. And yeah, one of the benefits of having a block club is that, for instance, our street, just like all the other streets in Compton, needed to be paved really badly. And so basically that's what started our block club, was the residents coming together. We actually started filling in the potholes ourselves. And then we thought, okay, this is ridiculous. So I think the diversity is what brought us together. So as a result, a year ago, in fact, our 1-year anniversary is coming up, we got our street paved, which was fantastic. So we didn't stop there. We continued to have block club meetings every quarter, and all the neighbors, we all talk to each other. In fact, we have our phone numbers. We see each other as we walk the streets every day, and we talk about what's next in the community. So some of the big challenges, I'm sure, as you all know, graffiti, dumping, trees. I mean, so yeah, these are all topics that when you have a block club, when you organize, there's the benefit of just being able to go before your representation, your city council member and the dais, and basically just represent your street and talk about what it is that you need support in. So I think the biggest benefit has been just everyone coming together with one voice. And shout out to McMillan Street, by the way. They inspired Tucker Street Block Club to get going, because they got their street paved as well. But Adriana, do you want to tell us a little bit about what happened on McMillan Street?
Yes, I was on mute. I didn't realize it. Yes, so how we came across my neighbor, Amadi Williams, and approached me and some other neighbors, because somebody came to to him asking him that they wanted to invest in a pocket park down the street from where we live. And we were all excited about it. It still hasn't been approved, but it's still on the works. And so in order for us to get that park, we needed to get signatures from all the neighbors. So we kind of rallied up and went out door to door and then invited everybody and asked for the signatures. Not everybody was with the park, and not everybody was against, and not a lot of people were with it, but it's still in the works. So then we ended up meeting at his house, just a front yard meeting. This is when there was no pandemic. And so then when we met, we realized like, wow, there was probably a good like 15 households that came out of maybe 60 of the 2 blocks that we're representing, because McMillan's a pretty long block, but we only invited the 2 nearest from Bullis. Anyhow, so we ended up getting together, talking about the pocket park, and then we realized like, whoa, well, this is very nice getting to know each other. It's sad that I had lived here in McMillan for over almost 10 years already. We've been here since 2009 and only knew a few of my neighbors. So finally, after that meeting and me being, I'm very friendly and I like to help the ones that need Spanish translation. So while Amari was presenting in English, I was doing my Spanish, and then we got to know a lot of our neighbors. So now, that came together, and we said, hey, well, let's keep meeting, of course, about the park. But then it came up like, let's meet up about, other issues that we have. So then we started talking about how bad half of our block was in bad shape. There's a lot of potholes, and it was just people speeding by, and there's been accidents. It's just a mess. So then everybody agree, and everybody liked, to be part of it, the Spanish speaking and the non-Spanish speaking, everybody just joined. And we started having meetings, and unfortunately the pandemic hit, and then we kind of stopped. But as a result of our McMillan connection, that's what we called it, our block club, the McMillan connection. We feel that we're more united. We also look out for each other. Miss Margaret is here in the meeting, and I met, that united us. And now Miss Margaret and I chat almost every day or when we see each other. And it's nice going out for walks and being able just to recognize who's your neighbor. So that's brought a lot of peace of mind. We also meet about concerns. So we have a list going on of things that we need to help improve. And it's ongoing list, and then also there is some some of our street was a little bit messed up. I took pictures, send it over to the mayor, to Candace, to, bring our issues up and make ourselves known, make the problem known, and then things get fixed. So eventually our street did get paved, and our blocks, like, the sidewalks got fixed too. So that's really nice, especially with the stroller and a baby. I go out for walks now without having to go on the street. So all that came along, and then, and I met Arturo. I met him at a volunteer cleanup, and then he came to our meeting, and then, we're like BFFs now, right, Arturo?
Yeah, you're our sister block club, and as a result, we've got a block club going over. These are all in District 2. There's one going on Rose Street. We've got one over on Peck Street. We're starting one on Pearl Street. In fact, I was just introduced to someone on that street who is a leader and gets involved and wants to know what we can do so that we can create visibility here in District 2. I think what District 2 suffers from is lack of visibility and representation. So we are bonding together as citizens so that we can represent ourselves in the absence of leadership from our council member. So there's a lot of visibility here. We all call each other. In fact, I was on the phone for about 3 hours today, just talking to citizens about, candidates and challenges that are going on in District 2. So there's a lot of buzz going on behind the scenes, and we want to consolidate that so that there's a unified front when we go to City Hall and say, hey, look, we need some love out here in District 2. So it's an exciting time to be involved in community work.
We need a lot of love.
For sure.
For years.
Yeah.
Such a bad representative, and it's really sad. And Arturo and I were considering running, but unfortunately it didn't work out because personal reasons. We just didn't end up going forward, but maybe in the future we'll reconsider. But it's tough, that our district, because we see other districts how their council person is so involved and does things, and then District 2's does things, but in reality we don't see much movement.
And I'm going to be real honest. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add that you don't have to be in a position in order to be a leader. So in fact, I feel that we can be more effective here as leaders in our community. And then in turn, if we can partner with someone up in City Hall, then we'll make a great team. But I felt that being here, championing the voice for the neighbors was more effective than the politics of City Hall.
Yeah, and we also meet like there's no, in our block clubs, there's really no structure like, oh, he's the president or he started it or she's the leader. I mean, she's like the main one. No, it's like we're all leaders because we're all
Right.
making, every neighbor. So I kind of don't want to have a title because I feel that we're all united, we're all together in it. So I feel that everybody in our block club, we're all leaders. We all like we brought it together and we're all making a
That's an
difference.
excellent point, Adriana, and I wanted to mention that. So I call myself one of the captains, but there are many people on this street who also were behind getting our street paved and who also help when it's time to pass out flyers or get the word out, knock on doors. So they couldn't be here tonight, but I just want to recognize them. We're all leaders, exactly, in our own
Yeah.
way.
And like this meeting that we just had for
Right.
the forum for the just for the treasure, like literally it was Mrs. Margaret off for her house, and then Amadi and his brother showed up with like a DJ system that had like perfect sound and was being broadcast, and it just came together, and it was nice.
There is a question in the chat. Question for Adriana Arturo. Is there a candidate that you feel will represent D2 best? I want to just throw the disclaimer out there that Compton
Thank you.
Advocates cannot endorse or
Mhm.
get behind any candidate. So whatever Adriana and Arturo say is their own words, and it does not reflect Compton Advocates in any way. I want to make that very clear.
That's an excellent disclaimer, and thank you for saying that right up front, Candace. So on behalf of Tugger Street Block Club, we are not a nonprofit. We are just a group of citizens and residents who share ideas and opinions about who we think might best lead our district. We are still out. We are vetting the candidates. We'd like to hear more from them. Obviously, there's a few off the top that we just know we're not voting for. In my mind, it's come down to a couple of viable candidates, but I'm not at liberty to disclose at this point, seeing that there is still time to understand more about what their positions are regarding the district, what their vision is, what are their relationships, are they able to partner effectively with the dais and the city manager so that we can get things done in District 2. That all remains to be seen. So at this point, I'm not going to disclose my position. And that's for every candidate, not just District 2.
Thank you.
And
But do your research.
yeah,
Do
I
your homework.
Please do your research.
yeah,
Yes.
because even I think somebody approached Amadi, which is our other leader here in the McMillan, and asked him for endorsement, and we can't, because we're neighbors and we're looking out for each other, and we don't want to create this unity into a crash, for us not to be united because, oh, I like this person and I'm voting for this one and I'm voting for this other one. So I think at the end of the day, I respect everybody's vote. We're, making this for everybody to learn about the candidates. But at the end of the day, it's your, and you do what you think it's right for your community. And we're at a position that the McMillan Connection can endorse because we just can't, because everybody's different and we cannot take that privilege away and from Canada.
Yep.
Right.
Adriana,
I wanted to.
go ahead, Chris. I just want to add.
I just wanted to chime in about. I wanted before about the block club thing. I had a suggestion that. Okay, so a lot of people are interested in the block club, and then I get a lot of messages about, well, the city had a block club commission, and then they got rid of the block club commission, and I think that's where a lot of block clubs kind of either they dwindled away or not. But my thing was, I said that possibly we can form a block club committee as a whole. Like if we create a commission of our own without the city. A lot of these people were on block club commissions and they were just basically there for the whatever the little pay that it did pay. A lot of people were a part of that commission only for that reason. They didn't have any action. They were just taking a part just to collect the little pennies and do away with it. So my suggestion was just like, I feel that we should create some type of our own commission that's not regulated by the city. That way, even if the city does even pick up another block club commission, if the commission goes out of commission, then it fails us again. So I figure we create our own entity outside of city government. I think it would make us to be a strong coalition to where you'll have, I won't just say a few people per block club, but just if all of the block clubs could have a place to meet, or if we have to do it on Zoom, just to meet, and that way we can formulate better.
Well, I did put in the chat, if you go to comptonadvocates.org, there is a tab for block clubs. And if you're interested in starting one, I haven't had much interest. It's been there for a while. But if you fill out the form, I will get your information to Arturo and Adriana. Sorry, I'm volunteering you guys, but they would be great mentors with any questions that you have. And I've seen them go to other people's block club meetings to try to help them move along. So if you're interested in starting one, just go to comptonadvocates.org and you can click on block clubs and fill out the form, and I'll get your information over to them. And I think and then we could start there, Chris, but I always tell people you don't need to wait for the city to do anything. Compton Advocates just started on its own. I don't rely on the city for anything. It was just something we started at a local coffee shop. And I actually like the freedom of not being bound to the city, because then you can kind of just do what you need to do. And everyone is a force multiplier. So we all have the ability to talk to our neighbors and talk to people and get them activated. So don't let the whole city thing stop you. If you're interested in starting one, just fill out the form and we'll get you connected.
Candace, you bring up an excellent point. In fact, I appreciate that it's not hosted by the city, because we're not beholden to the city. It can't be manipulated as a result. So this is just a coalition of neighbors who come together. And Chris, that's an excellent idea. And I believe that every district should start rallying together and getting their block clubs together. I know here in District 2, that's what we're doing. We're talking to residents. And keep in mind that you only need 1 or 2 really concerned and active citizens on each street in order to have a block club. It doesn't need to be like, a dozen people. If you've got 2 solid people on your street, that's a block club. Those 2 people then reach out and engage other people and get other people involved, and they start championing your street. So if we can multiply that on every street, hey, that's power right there.
Yeah,
I agree.
And imagine if that moves through the whole city. And there's
Right.
all, because I know McMillan, I know Tucker, I know Rose, I know Peck is new, but I know the people who are doing that. And then there's Sunny Cove over off of Wilmington. Karen has a really strong, long-standing block club there. So if we just multiply that through the city, imagine the effect that will have. Some of the, for lack of a, what was that?
I think Christian that's here, Point Sierra, they have a very good block club. Christian Reinaga just shared about how united their street is and everything they do, because they go above and beyond. Like they even, he shared a little bit about how they do things there, and it's awesome. It's like they decorate their trees every year. There's a fund for whenever someone needs help, with something. There's like a fund that there's one neighbor that collects the fund, and they help each other. Like it's
well,
amazing.
I always think if you have elderly neighbors, and maybe, I lived in Orange County for 10 years, not my proudest 10 years, I will say, but I had moved and I ran back to Compton, believe it or not. But when I was in Orange County, I was there for 10 years. I knew one neighbor. And that was probably the biggest thing for me, was that I knew that if something happened to me or something happened to a neighbor, I don't know anyone. I was just kind of floundering alone in that neighborhood. And I know that in Compton, everybody knows everybody. So I know that if I didn't hear from my neighbor for a while, I probably should go check on her. And we do have a lot of elderly residents in Compton. So it's also just beneficial to keep an eye on them. And do for one another. It's community. So if your neighbor needs help taking their trash out, or I don't know, I don't see what could go wrong. Like it's just a plus.
Candace, can I share something about the block clubs?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I'm involved in a lot of these different progressive organizations, and they don't call it block clubs, but they call it neighborhood organizing. So if any of the block clubs on here are like interested in like, because there's local issues, right? But then there's also like issues at county level, at state level, at federal level. So if you're interested in just like educating your community on those issues, I could get you connected to those resources as well. And they provide things like phone banking and just I mean anything that's used, especially in COVID. So I want to provide myself as a resource that I can connect you to take your block club organizing, hopefully like even to the the level even outside of community, because it starts local, right? Yeah, I just wanted to offer that, and I'll put my personal email in the chat.
And send me, if
yeah.
you can email me like a
Okay.
blurb about that and the
Okay.
contact info,
Yeah.
I'll add it to our resource page.
Okay.
And then people
I
can
will.
find it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Fatima, I wanted to respond. You had put a comment earlier about
Right.
District 2 should get together about having our own
Right.
forum. And in
Right.
fact, we have been talking about that. We have that in the works. We are planning, of course, of the pandemic, how we can do this to get the logistics together and invite the candidates. So stay tuned, everyone. That may be coming up.
I was gonna say outdoors, like in a park, you could all be distant. That'd be the best.
Right. So then we would need a PA
Yeah.
system, and so that everyone can hear in the back, and then we need to like get logistics, how we can stream that out to everybody. So yeah.
It'll work.
Stay tuned.
If
I
you
know you guys will do it.
Yeah, the person I'm working with for the video thing, he's a Compton resident. I think he might have access to some of those things. So if I have your email, I can let you know if that's
Yeah,
helpful.
we'll be in touch. I appreciate your
Okay.
support. Thanks, Fatima.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions or any feedback they want to add to this?
Hey, how you all doing? I apologize. When the meeting first started, I was on a real important call that may impact Compton. It was with a company called Allied Universal. They have to hire 888 guards every week in Southern California. And we have a lot of guards here in Compton, actually a lot of training schools. Some of you guys, I see you on Instagram, so I think I know you, but I'm Wild Goose Foundation.
I've seen your name.
Well, and that's my real name.
Is that on your birth certificate? Wild Goose Foundation.
It's stamped on my butt. So, and I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and like I believe the gentleman's name is Chris. He has a store over there on one of the avenues. I try to always meet up with him, but I'm always having to go somewhere else. I think I know everybody. I've been in Compton for about 6 years. We just lost my grandpa, 87 years old, back in November. So I may be doing a lot of moving around. Unfortunately, I had to move my office for my foundation to Camarillo. So I'm kind of in the Ventura network when it comes to business identity, but I live right here in Compton, and I clean up by the high school over here. The gentleman told me about one of the cops that he knew. I don't get involved with all the politics. Like I appreciate some people say, hey, we can't endorse anyone. I'm the type of person, if I have a leader and if the person's elected, I make them do their job. I don't fight with them. I just encourage them to do their job. There are a couple of things I always hear about Compton since I've been here. It's this, like I'm sitting at my dining table, it's that type of talk. Well, there are a couple of things I've noticed about Compton being here. Number one, is one of the oldest American cities. One of the oldest. I mean, before this state, had that city and that city, they were filled. And Compton would sit here as an incorporated city. And I kind of appreciate that history. I do appreciate the loyalty that people from Compton have for Compton, because I'm originally from Miami. My people come from the Bahamas. That's where Wild Goose come from. So I'm encouraged still being here in Compton. If I do leave Compton for business reasons, I'm still going to be loyal to the people that are here trying to get things right. Compton is in the middle of 4 freeways, the 710, the 105, the 110, and the 91. We got I don't just want Compton residents to enjoy Compton. When I go to Beverly Hills, I see people from Australia, from Europe, and everything bringing money to that city. I want Compton to be open where we start putting stuff here, or have an environment that encourage people that when they get off the plane at LAX, I got to go see Compton. I got to go see where the struggles used to be there, and now it's this amazing top 10 American city. So I'm optimistic. And like I said, it starts at the dinner table, so I'm not anti that. but I'm really appreciating that the Zoom meeting was made. And I logged on knowing that I was on another one. And I know y'all saw my head bobbing and I was fussing and cussing, but you know, we're going to do some things and I'm going to reach out. Also, I look out for veterans. They're all through Compton. And, you know, we're going to make them feel at home here. And they don't have to be homeless. They don't have to be at the bottom of the barrel grinding because I'm in Compton. No, brother, you served in Vietnam, ma'am. You served in Iraq. We're going to make sure that you appreciate it here in Compton. So I'm on board. You know, I live over here. I guess it's District 1 under Chambers for Change. And we support her regardless of the hype. You know, we're going to make sure that she does her job while she's there. And that's what I just want to add. I did want to apologize for being late.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I have seen you on Instagram, and I was wondering, like, who is this person? Because I'll see you liking things. So very nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us.
Wait a minute, do we call you
to...
Wild Goose? Is that your name? Do we call him Wild Goose, Mr. Wild Goose?
My name is Sean Wild Goose. Now, let me explain this before everybody starts calling this.
Mr. Sean.
Before they start calling this 3 square root. This is how I write my W. I want to always have this super signature. So I made this my nonprofit logo. That's it. But it's not 3 square root. It's not 3 checking. It's not the home religion.
Move it over a little bit because we couldn't see it really good. Move it like, there we go.
Okay. I got you guys on the laptop and on the phone because my laptop mic is not working. But that's my logo, but that's the W to Wild Goose. So you see me wearing it all the time. I mean, I'm a bald head person, so my head get cold. I'm gonna wear it anyway. So yeah, but that's me. And thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone else want to add anything or have any questions?
So I wanted to add Compton as a destination city, as Sean mentioned. Next year's Super Bowl, I believe, is being hosted here in Inglewood. So there's an opportunity
is
there,
it really?
I'm sure.
Oh.
I believe so.
So let's clean up our city. Stop dumping.
Because there's some tax dollars that'll come into Compton if we can attract that. 2022. Wow. Yep.
I did not know that. That's interesting. So yeah, that's big news. That could be good. And the thing is, I've traveled and pretty much everywhere I've gone, people know Compton. So like the mayor always says, like, our soil is rich. We are like in a great location. We're world renowned. Like, people know Compton. It's familiar. We just have to shift the narrative a little bit so that we're not known for gangster rap and violence and drive-bys and graffiti and, you know, and that's kind of been what has kept me going, is just, how do we change the narrative? How do we show people that amazing people come from Compton? And I too would like to look back one day and see like this amazingly transformed city, not in a gentrification way before people start going off on that, but just a beautiful city that's clean and has amenities and you can eat and shop Compton, and like it just has everything that we need. And yeah, I would like to see some locations where people can come in and see some of the history. And I know that's been discussed in the downtown plan, like having like a museum or something that kind of shows all the greatness that's come out of Compton. And we can do that. It's just going to take everybody working together and doing their part, you know. We have, okay. So I don't know if anyone has anything. Chris, do you have anything to add?
Oh yeah, sorry guys, I had to walk away for a second, but I just want to say that I just want to thank everyone. You know, everyone that's on this Zoom. You know, I'm looking at Wild Goose Foundation. I appreciate you, man. You be tapping in. I don't know. I'm the guy from Compton Activist that you send the messages to. You know, everyone that's on this Zoom, that I appreciate all of you guys. You know, for just stepping up and, you know, just tapping in and just basically stepping up. And I know that everyone is watching all of us as individuals, and you know, I think that we'll create other people to want to tap in and get it going. You know, it just takes time, and sometimes I know it seems like, you know, people are not paying attention, or, you know, a lot of people are just not getting involved. But I truly believe that this year that people will begin to get involved by just watching the things that we do. So I just want to thank all of you guys for just stepping up being the Compton heroes,
Yeah, thank you. It's good to
Thanks.
see this group continuing because COVID has been really rough. And when we started, it was all about face-to-face meetings in the coffee shop, and we all got together, and it's been really hard navigating COVID. And I know everybody is sick of Zooms. That's like all I do all day. So I appreciate everyone who has taken the time to be here. I do see a question on Facebook. Is there a block club contact list for existing clubs? I recently moved to Compton. Chiaro, you can email me at team@comptonadvocates.org and I'll get you connected. I don't see any other questions. So upcoming events. So Chris has actually started, and I understand not everybody is religious or prays, but if you are interested, on Wednesday nights at 8:30, Chris is hosting a community prayer circle. We usually post on our page, so you'll see it. So if you feel inclined to join, please join us. We also have COVID testing in Compton. I see a lot of people asking, where can I get tested on COVID? Literally every day on Facebook. And so I keep trying to post the information, but Gonzalez Park is our city testing site. It's been active since August, I believe. You can go to our resource page, so comptonadvocates.org/resources, and it'll have the link so you can make an appointment. But that is now operational, I believe, 7 days a week. So you can get tested. There is also another site in District 3. I will add that information to the resource page as well, but it's Councilwoman McCoy and the Latino Chamber have another testing site going. In April, we are going to be organizing another PPE giveaway with Pull Up Neighbor. We did 4 of those in Compton and Watts last year. So we're going to do another one. And I believe there will be some baseball equipment for kids with this one. So we'll keep you posted on that. Also, for those of you interested, a lot of people have been asking about Father Francisco's funeral. I just got word today that they are having services for him on February 18th at 9 a.m. and at 6 p.m. in the Our Lady of Victory cafeteria parking lot, or they'll be streaming it on Facebook Live. So I will post that information. I think there's a graphic coming. So once I get that, I'll post it for people who want to attend. I know he meant a lot to a lot of people here. The mayor will be having her State of the City next week, I believe the 18th in the evening, and I will post that as well, but she'll be giving, updates on city items. And then I just want to remind people to download the city app. If you go to your app store, you can type in Compton, it'll pop up the Compton City app. In that app, you can find information on city council meetings, numbers to call, public works, all of that good stuff. And also there's a feature that allows you to report issues in the city. So potholes or trash or graffiti, it has like a geo coding thing so you can pinpoint the location and report it. And with that, Facebook is not a place to report things. I sometimes catch them and then I'll pluck them off of Facebook and I'll do what I can with them, but I know I don't catch everything and it's just not productive. So I would advise everyone to visit our resource page, save it, because there are numbers on that page for like all the different departments in the city, and download the app if you can and report issues that way, because Facebook, I don't want to see people post stuff on Facebook thinking it's going to get done and then it doesn't get done and then you're complaining because it doesn't get done. But we don't have time to monitor Facebook all day. I just happen to catch things and then I do what I can to help. I think that is all I have on my list. Does anyone have anything else?
I've got a question, Candace, about that app. So I had downloaded it a year or two ago and I stopped using it. Is there a feedback mechanism so that when we open a ticket, that we're notified that it was addressed or that it's delayed or that it's being declined, so that the resident knows that something's being done, or does it just go into a black box and we never hear from them
No,
again?
I know they just updated it, and I haven't used it since the update, so I'll test it out and let you know. But I know they did a whole rehash of it.
Okay,
Okay,
excellent.
good.
I've used
Oh.
it. And you do. So hi everyone, my name is Amy. I've used it, and you do get a message, an alert saying that whether it was your request was canceled, processed, and so forth.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
So they updated
Thank you,
it that
Amy.
way.
Yeah. Well, good. That restores my faith. I think I'll download it and use it again.
Yeah, we all need to use that. I mean, it just makes it really easy. And I do know it's like with the update, they filter it to certain departments. I just wasn't sure about the feedback part of it. So that's good to know. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm looking at Facebook to see if we're missing anything, but I think we're good. Chris, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Christopher, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, it was confusing. No, definitely just kind of reiterating what's already been said. Please go out there and vote. Do your research on your candidates. Feel free to really I hate to say this word, but interrogate them. Really ask them questions like how are they going to move the city forward? I think is important. So do ask them questions. I did drop the link to the candidates page. Their contact information is on there. Message them, call them, set something up, set up a one-on-one. Really get information and how they're better going to serve the constituents, because a lot of times people get intimidated to reach out to the candidates, but really, figure out what their plan is and, how they're going to serve the city. So again, just get out there, it's been emphasized before, do your research. And then just get out there and vote.
Yeah, thank you. And when the 2019 elections happened, I was pretty new to everything. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what I was doing. And I did reach out to candidates and I set up meetings with them and just sat and interviewed them. And Councilwoman Chambers, I remember it was me and my mother, and we met her at Starbucks on Central and Rosecrans, and we literally like interrogated her for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and she was great and answered all our questions. But that means a lot to me when a candidate will sit down and listen and answer the questions. So don't be shy. These people are going to represent you, and their role, all of these roles are super important in the city. So get engaged, and if you haven't voted or you've been hesitant to vote, please get involved. Please do it. It's not going to hurt you. It's a mail election. You're not going to have to go anywhere to do it. There's really no reason to not get involved. So I encourage everyone to take an active role in their city, really, because that's the only way we're going to see change. And that's all I have.
Right.
Does anyone?
Well, I did want to add one thing. I would also just to add to that if there's anyone out there that's listening, if you're a felon and you're not on active parole, you can vote. You can now voice your opinion. You have the right to vote. If you're a felon, you can vote, and if you're on probation, you can still vote. Because a lot of people, you ask them like, "Hey, you registered to vote?" They're like, "Nah, I'm a felon. I'm a felon." Like, "Are you on parole?" "Nah, I'm not on parole, but I'm a felon." So those that are listening, even if you could just share the information, it's a good thing that, to let felons and probationers know that they still have a voice to vote just because they made the wrong decision and broke the law, So that's just something to put out there to let people know.
Thank you. That's important.
Can I share one thing about voting too, Candace?
Mhm.
Yeah, so like I think it's like the elections that are coming up for your city, it's like really going to be about voter turnout, right? So if once you get to know your candidate and you really believe in whoever that candidate is, like, help them out, right? Help them out, because really, like, a lot of these elections that are not in a presidential year have really low voter turnout. So if you really believe in a candidate, and you really help them and spread the word and things like that, even if another candidate is, part of, I don't know, the establishment structure is more known or what have you, or anything like that, your outreach can really help, right? So I just wanted to like encourage y'all to like get involved, yeah, and like could really make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And in Compton, historically, people win by a couple hundred votes. So not
can I
a
say
whole lot
something?
of people turn out. Yes.
Hey, okay. Now, like I said, I'm not political. Or I gotta look at the right camera. But this is one thing I want to say about voting, and this
Probably crossover with me being a veteran, being an American citizen, being a citizen of immigrants. My dad, people came from the Bahamas. My mom, people came from slavery. When we encourage people to register to vote, when we encourage people to reach out to the candidates, when we want them to exercise that fundamental right, and I love the fact that we didn't change the law with people that did their time, they were felons, they can be relegated to have something to do with their community. I make sure I don't try to influence how you vote. Okay, Chris, are you registered to vote? I'm a felon. No, you can do it. You can vote, but aren't you voting for Sean Wild Goose? No, let's not do that. It's almost like
Right.
choosing your mate for marriage. All the families say, well, we like him, but what if you're really in love? You know, go for that person that you believe in, regardless of what all the climate is saying you're supposed to do, what party's supposed to be about, what issues that you're supposed to think about. My thing might be only the streets. Everything else in Compton might be something I can tolerate. Or it might be business infrastructure, or it might just be crime, or it might be all of the above. Make sure that when we encourage as organizations for people to register to vote, we have to respect it. Once they get that right or register to vote and they're going to exercise it, it's their choice. And we can't Monday morning quarterback. Who did you vote for? Did you vote for that one? No, let's just hope that it goes the best for the community. But let's make sure that we hold that responsibility too, because I see that too much. You know, Wild Goose, I know you're voting, and I know you're voting for Candace. No, I don't like her. She owed me $20 in food stamps. Come on now. So that's how we roll. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of being a nonprofit, because I do have opinions on a personal level, but I just want to activate people and give them the tools to make the best decision for them. But it kind of is like a weight off my back, because I'm not able to do that. I don't want to lose our 501c3 status. So I'm going to give you all the tools to make the decision. But I'm not going to try to like hard influence. But if you do want to volunteer for a candidate, I encourage you to go do that if that's what you want to do. I think.
I just wanted to share one thing. Sorry, but sorry, Mr. Wild Goose, I totally respect you and appreciate you. But I think I would agree with you, except that like I think there's a balance, right? Like I think you can't be pushy, but this is the thing. There's an unequal playing field in politics. So like what happens is if there's a candidate that has a lot of name recognition, right? And you're trying to be a grassroots candidate, things like that. That's where like that organizing is, but it can't be pushy. So I agree with you 100% on that. And I think the way you can do is present the issue, right? You're like, okay, this is the issue you care about. Okay, so here's what we see and here's what's available, right? But I just think that there's an inequitable issue of money, because if a candidate has millions of dollars, they're just gonna get their name out and they might not really be standing for anything. That's my only thing. And another candidate that's a good one might not have the opportunity. So that's where that organizing becomes important, but it can't be pushy. So I just wanted to address that.
And that's where the candidate forums could be helpful as well. So whoever can host a candidate forum, please do so, because then that gives a neutral space for everyone to hear each of these candidates and make their choice. So thank you for that. And that's all I have. I'm going to release all of you to get back to your lives and, eat dinner if you haven't done so already. Thank you for joining. It's been a little odd not having Yolanda here with me, but Christopher, thank you. Thank you, Chris and Arturo and Adriana for joining, and Fatima for, explaining these things to the community. And I look forward to seeing everyone again on March 11th. So thank you. Good night.
Good night, everybody.